Hi, welcome back. So in my previous video, I was mentioning a few things that I was going to cut back on budget-wise, but I also wanted to do a follow-up on a few things I will not be cutting back on. One of them is social life and social activities. Now, I will preface this by saying I'm not someone who's outside all the time, so to speak. However, the MBA is a very social degree, and you have to, network and socialize. So that's one area where yes, I can watch the spend, but I will not be cutting back on that just because, you have to socialize, you have to get out there, learn, get to know your classmates, networking, even doing coffee chats with companies. That is, those things can add up. And obviously, it's not only about paying for drinks or coffee, you have to look presentable. Might have to invest in getting hair done, suits. So, that area, I think the social budget, that's one area I probably will not totally eliminate. Now, I can make some revisions. I will probably shop in my closet first before shopping anywhere. But that's one area I think definitely for sure I will not skimp on. I said revisions, not cut back. Secondly, is kind of like wellness and safety. Those, overall wellness in terms of food, diet, and those kind of things definitely will not be making any cutbacks on that. I think your health is your wealth, so that's one of the things I do try to prioritize, and you can only cut so many corners with that. So those are the main areas. The last one I would say is kind of, my daughter and her budget. Now, again, I can make revisions to that, but I do not want to take away from her with this experience. She has a museum membership, she does her extracurricular activities. I do not want to stop those at all. So, whatever other necessary cuts I have to make sure that she's still living her best life and making sure she gets all the support and everything she needs, those are non-negotiables for me. There's ways to go around those things. For instance, we've been to Disney on Ice a few times, and I was talking to her about it a few months ago, and she's like, I don't want to go to Disney on Ice anymore. And I'm like, oh, great, save me some money, because while they do have new skaters, new characters and stuff, it is redundant. Like, we don't need to keep going. But she's like, I want to go to Disney instead. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought you were going to save me money. Now you're bringing on something more expensive. But even that, I think at this point, eliminating that expense towards putting it towards something greater in the future might be better. Or instead of we need to be at every little activity, kind of just building on things, leveraging our museum membership more. We do live close to the museum, so that helps. So yes, those are definitely a few non-negotiables for me. I would even add investing. Obviously, when you're working, you're investing into your 401k. You might have the discretionary funds to invest. I am not doing that right now, but just keeping an eye on the stock market and things. Definitely invest in, whether it's knowledge, not only money, but in other aspects of life, investing in our future, my future, her future, our future. Those are non-negotiables for me. Just because I'm in business school, I can revise and pause, but I'm not gonna eliminate those things. Also, I didn't mention some charitable contributions and cutback, but I will not. I actually want to increase the number of organizations I work with, charities, junior boards. That's one thing I want to actively increase and do more of in business school. So those areas, definitely. In terms of my board work and those things, I definitely want to keep those or actually increase them. But certain charitable donations, those I will cut back on. So those are a few areas. In terms of, I guess, beauty and upkeep and things like that, I will be honest, I'm not like a super high maintenance girl or anything like that. I do wear braids quite a lot. I do have natural hair, so I do get that done. Now, again, that is important because I have tons of interviews, tons of networking events. It's about to be conference season in the spring. So, and it's just easier to keep my hair braided so I can just get up and go. But even that, I've kind of revised the schedule. I was previously like taking my braids out and going back and get them installed, washed and installed the next day. Now I kind of give myself like a few weeks in between just so I can get a braid, try to replenish some funds, and then go from there. So those are some of the non-negotiables. If anyone has any questions, let me know. I know I get a lot of questions about doing this with a family in New York City after working in corporate or working all these years, the transition back to school financially. And I know a lot of people are afraid to do it. It is tough. I'm not going to lie and say it's easy. I'm not going to mislead anyone. I know there's a lot of narratives out there about MBA students having unlimited money because they're always traveling and doing things. But that's not my narrative, and that's not the narrative that I want to put out there. So, if anyone has any questions or any suggestions, if you have any suggestions on way to save money, scale back, or, leveraging like certain credit cards for the best perks and benefits, using cashback sites, just anything in general, I am willing to take advice. So that's all I wanted to say. If you were someone who wants to go back to school and you're unsure, I would say, this is something I've planned for years. It wasn't an impulse decision, and I've prepared for it for years, so it was easier. And plus, I do have a spouse, which makes things a lot easier because I do have some, support. It's not me alone, especially with a child. So that definitely makes things easier. But there's lots of families in business school. Especially even Duke, that's a very big family school, and they do a lot of events. They have Fuqua Fridays for families. Even at Columbia, there's lots of families there. There's lots of pregnant women, lots of women with young children, like newborns. Women give birth in the program. It is possible. It's doable. And I actually tip my head off to them, having younger children or even having toddlers in the program. My daughter's 7. I can bring her on campus when I want to. She loves coming on campus. If she had her way, she'll drop out of 2nd grade and come to business school. That's because she just loves being on campus. She loves getting the attention. Everyone wants to talk to her. Everyone wants to play with her. It is doable. You will have your community. You will have your support. People have supported me in amazing ways, in ways I didn't even think it would be. There's been times where I didn't understand what's going on in class, and my classmates will sit with me and make sure I understand and explain it to me and break it down or give me resources. If I'm struggling with anything, they're always like, oh my God, how are you doing this? You have a child, like, how is this working for you? And I'm like, I have one. There's people here with 3 young children and all this stuff, or really young kids. Like, at least my daughter has her schedule. She goes to school. She goes to, she is good. Now, the childcare thing does come up from time to time. But I'm so grateful now we're in a position where I don't have to hemorrhage myself paying for an exuberant amount of money for childcare because she is older. She has her schedule, and like I said, if it's a small incident, I can just bring her on campus with me at this point because she is mature enough. She loves it here. She talks to all of my friends. She loves meeting people. People like meeting her. And again, the community, there's so much support within the community. And even, I have support. Do have some support. My schedule is much, much more manageable now because I'm finished with core. I'm so excited. So I get to make my schedule. It's a lot more manageable. So, that's also an area of, it depends. It could be, I don't know how to put that. It depends on your situation. That could be an area of, how should I put it? Something you increase or decrease. I think in the beginning of my business school experience, childcare was definitely something that was like, oh my God, this is gonna drive me into bankruptcy. But once I got into the groove of things, and by October, it was just not necessary to spend a significant amount of money on it anymore. So I would say that area might be subject to a lot of factors. So for me, initially, it did increase a lot of spending on it, but now it's like very little, non-existent. Obviously, summer school breaks, that's a story for another day, but we'll figure those things out. Or again, if I have one class or two, I'll just bring her on campus and leverage my community for the support. But I would say that's one of the main things that's helped me get by. I've had classmates and everyone just always checking on me, and I'm like, I'm great. And they're like, how are you able to do all of this? I'm like, listen, when you have children, you find a way to do things you didn't know you can do. So I would say, certain things like family and those are non-negotiables for me. Family time, family spending, investing in our future and our lives, those I will not be cutting back on. But if anyone wants to make this bold move, I'm willing to support any way that I can. I'm happy to be a resource. I would suggest do it. You don't want to be 50 or older wondering maybe I should have, gotten the MBA 20, 15 years ago. And, I know people say money comes and goes, jobs comes and goes too. There's nothing holding you down, jobs will call you and tell you that today's your last day and that's it. So always try to do what's best for you, and chase what you're into. I think that's one thing I've had no regrets so far in this experience, is that I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do. Like exactly what I wanted to do. And my goal is to, after business school, to do exactly what I wanted to do too. So that's all for today. Thank you for listening to my, non-negotiables and things that I will be, not compromising on. So take care and stay safe.